Hey everyone, Wolf Lord Rho here. Today we begin our discussion on the status and future of the Blood Angels chapter master Dante. A general spoiler warning to begin here, as today we will be referencing events from across the Warhammer 40k universe. As always, I really recommend you read the stories for yourself first, without spoilers, as that's the best way to enjoy the lore for yourself. But with that said, let's just jump straight in. Okay, so Dante. One of the most legendary names from across all of the Warhammer 40k lore. A man who has most definitely faced his fair share of trials. And a man who, let's be honest here, has almost single-handedly shouldered the burden of the Blood Angels' survival. However, what's next? What could be in store for the legendary chapter master, the Warden of Imperium Nihilus? Well, in order to discuss that, we first need to recap what's been going on with him, as he's certainly had an eventful time recently, a journey that he's been on. And so today we'll be discussing what's led him to his current situation. And then next we'll be moving on to his future. So, the last installment of the Blood Angel series of novels was Darkness in the Blood, which focused around Mephiston's trials in becoming Primaris, and Dante's uphill battle in rebuilding his chapter, continuing to fight back the countless foes everywhere, and assembling a battle fleet worthy of reconquering Imperium Nihilus. It's clear that Dante's struggles were only just beginning, that surviving the devastation of Baal was not the end. He's watching and supervising Baal becoming a literal terror of the North, a beacon for the still surviving Imperial forces to look to flock to, with refugees pouring into the system with every passing week, and the gargantuan space station named Skyfall becoming ever busier with every passing day. And at the end of this novel, we were left with a very honest and frank conversation between Dante and his chief librarian, with Mephiston having successfully survived the Rubicon procedure, where Dante would admit he was dying. "You are faithful, Mephiston. You are my brother. But we will never know the truth of what you are. As the Primarch said, the greatest enemies come from within. I could swear to you I shall always remain loyal. If you were going to, then you would do so without my asking," said Dante. "You do not because, although you would be sincere, you cannot see what the future will bring. It is of no matter. You are a potent asset. You are a son of the great angel, and a true servant of the Emperor. For the present," said Mephiston, "I trust you or Rasellus to kill me, should that change. We have nothing but the present, Mephiston. All we can do is make it count, so that we might have another present, and another, and by effort build them into a future." Mephiston bowed, his armour purred as it accommodated the movement. "May I speak with you honestly, brother commander?" "Always. I hear your faults. You are considering undergoing the crossing of the Rubicon. I advise you against it. I am old. I am tired. My wounds from the invasion of Baal are not healing. I need renewal. We have fallen far. Look at me. I am ancient. You were still strong until recently. Light glanced from the death mask of Sanguinius. Until recently. No more. Something is not right within me." He took a troubled breath. "I may be dying. Corbulo will not be honest with me, but I see it in his manner. One does not need to be a psyker to know Corbulo's faults, said Mephiston. No, we all die, even you. I cannot die now. Dante held up a gauntleted hand and looked at it. My body fails me, as the greatest task of all is thrust upon me. You have taken blood, more than I would wish. Since I broke my long fast, I have needed to drink more, so I have. He became quieter, but I have also wanted to. The taste, the energy, to see the memories of another man. His hand clenched, stilling the tremor. It disgusts me, what I am reduced to. Nevertheless, you must not undergo the procedure. It will kill you. That is my choice, said Dante. There was more of an edge to his voice than he would have liked. He unclenched his fist and let his hand fall again to rest upon the throne's arm. Fear not, brother, he said calmly. I have not yet decided. Maybe I will cross the Rubicon Primaris. Maybe I will not. Again, it's a very frank admission for Dante to make here. Bearer of Sanguinius' legacy, named as regent and warden of the entire Imperium Nihilus. And here he is, laying it bare, regardless of any title, as a mere man who has had to give more than any should. I am old, I am tired. My wounds from the invasion of Baal are not healing. I need renewal. We have fallen far. Look at me. I am ancient. It's probably the one person Dante can speak openly with. The traditional confidant of a chapter master, the chief librarian. But even then, with Dante, you get the sense he probably wouldn't have, if it wasn't for Mephiston being able to hear his faults. That Dante's just used to keeping it all within, bearing it himself. And we see here too the battle Dante had with his own chapter. How in being so tired, so exhausted, he saw the Rubicon procedure as a chance of becoming revitalized, restored, a miracle in truth. How he needed it, as much mentally as physical, and yet how his own chapter adamantly refused to risk losing him, being fundamentally opposed to it. Even Mephiston, who knows how tired, how exhausted Dante is. It's a fantastic testament to the man Dante is, the symbol that even in being so worn out, so tired and weary, the chapter just can't risk losing him, that they would be lost without him. And you can kind of understand that when he's been the chapter master through not only such a pivotal time, but he's also been the chapter master for over 1,000 years. When he's become such a legend in his own right. They know it's inevitable, but they absolutely will not do anything to risk bringing it about. But we know Dante would indeed cross the Rubicon and undergo the Primaris procedure, appearing to be Primaris within his very next appearance within a novel, The Lion's Son of the Forest. Here, it would be Dante and the Blood Angels who would arrive to greet the returned Lion L. Johnson, reuniting him with the power of the Imperium, coming face to face as they disembarked from their Thunderhawks within the hangar of L. Johnson's vessel. Then a new group of 10 Space Marines emerge from the central gunship, and between them comes a warrior in incredibly ornate golden plate, with a jump pack rising from his back and his face masked. The lion's eyes fall upon that mask, and rage fills him. "Who are you?" he demands, striding forward. The assembled Blood Angels, who had their weapons held neutrally in parade form, bring them up to ready positions as one, although they do not yet aim them. The Lion does not care. "Who are you?" he repeats, louder and more angry. "To wear my brother's face." They are Sanguinius's features, cast in gold, and drawn in an expression of rage and grief that reaches out and tears at the Lion's heart all over again. "Stand down, brothers," the masked warrior orders, and the Blood Angels lower their weapons once more. Then the gold-armoured commander reaches up and removes his helm, revealing the face beneath. The Lion can see the distant echo of the angel there, but greatly distilled by time. The warrior's long hair, which spills loose, is jet black, but threaded with silver, and his pale skin is drawn tight over high cheekbones, with faint blue veins visible beneath it. For all the power and command this Space Marine radiates, the Lion can tell that he is ancient. "I am Dante, commander of the Blood Angels," the golden-armoured warrior says. "I greet you, Lion L. Johnson, Lord of the Dark Angels and son of the Emperor." So, though not explicitly stated here, by Dante's appearance alone, he appeared to have already crossed the Rubicon. The warrior's long hair, which spills loose, is jet black, but threaded with silver, and his pale skin is drawn tight over high cheekbones. Dante was renowned for looking old and ancient beneath his armour, a big factor in why he preferred to keep his helm on around his men, so they could continue to believe in him, in his aura. He didn't want to be seen as weak, as old. His hair was long gone to a grey or white, and his skin was slackened with age. Yet here, his hair is black, with only small traces of silver, and his skin is tight. L. Johnson can tell Dante is ancient, but he doesn't look it. And so it was pretty clear Dante had crossed the Rubicon, off-screen as it were. And then of course we got the new model release, which confirmed it. I'd imagine we'll probably get this covered in the next Blood Angels novel, continuing on from Darkness in the Blood. Or if it does indeed take up after the Lion's return, I'd still expect a reference to be made on the hows and whys Dante finally decided to do it. How it all went down with all the Blood Angels Senior Council, being as opposed as they were. Not just a little reference, but a proper in-depth explanation. I think it would be a shame if we didn't get that anyway. Now, alongside the Son of the Forest novel, we were also obviously going through the Arcs of Omen campaign at the same time. And so we had the events of the Lion chapter, chapter 5 to dive into, showing us what happened in the immediate aftermath of Dante finding L. Johnson. There, Dante would take L. Johnson aboard his strike cruiser, Absolution's Ire, as the Blood Angels fleet would rush to reunite the Primarch with his sons, arriving to aid the Unforgiven in their assault on Vashtor the Archiphane's blasphemous creation of Wormwood, the demonic copy of Old Caliban. Contacting the Unforgiven fleet, Dante informed them that he had brought their Primarch back to them, of course eliciting no small amount of shock and confusion amongst the Unforgiven. And from there Dante wasted no time in launching into action to assist their forces against the ruinous powers, leading an assault force down to the surface to assist the embattled Azrael. And it was here that Dante would go up against the mighty Angron himself. Even as Azrael watched in dismay, the demon Primarch's axe ripped through Commander Dante's personal banner bearer and hurled the sanguinary guard across the tower. Fresh blood soaked into the fallen standard where it lay. Desperate to aid the Blood Angels, appalled at the price they had paid in their attempt to aid his warriors, Azrael raised Lion's Wrath and opened fire upon Angron. The Deathwing needed no order to follow his lead. A fusillade of fire split the air between the platform and the tower top, deadly accurate despite the range. Angron roared in fury as he was peppered with rounds, some of which ripped through his corporeal form in gouts of molten gore. As the demon Primarch whirled towards his new attackers, a golden armoured figure rocketed from atop a broken stairway and swung his glowing axe at Angron. Fast as fury, the demon Primarch spun, ignoring the Dark Angel's firestorm as he parried Commander Dante's attack. A shockwave exploded out as Spinegrinder met the Axe Mortalis. Angron staggered back from the exchange. Dante, by comparison, was smashed from the air and into the stone steps hard enough to crack them. He lay still and did not rise. And so it would be here that Lion L. Johnson would emerge to engage Angron, distracting him away from the fallen Dante, where Azrael would lead the assault to save his fellow chapter master, instinctively striving to repay the owed debt, which of course he would. And from there, with the Lion defeating Angron, the Imperial forces would evacuate the world, with Azrael and Dante being the last two to go. And that's really the last update we have regarding Dante, other than their recent codex, which is a bit more of your standard chapter lore. But so, Dante has crossed the Rubicon, restoring himself to vitality, and then been instrumental in not only saving Azrael and the Unforgiven, but also reuniting them with the Primarch. And though L. Johnson and his sons are infamously distant and secretive, you do have to think this action has established a good measure of trust between them. L. Johnson surely realising he can still very much trust the sons of his most beloved brother. We know since then the chapters have obviously gone their separate ways, with L. Johnson familiarising himself with his modern day sons. But as for Dante, fresh from this battle, where will his future lead? What does it have in store for him? Well, having established how Dante got to the situation currently, we'll move on to his future next, in the next conversation. But as always everyone, what do you think? How do you feel about Dante's journey? Is it the best storyline going in the current era? How much do you feel crossing the Rubicon is going to affect him as we move forward? Is it a true revitalization for his soul, or merely just physical? Will he begin to feel the weight of his duty once again? What do you think his relationship with the Dark Angels and L. Johnson is going to be like? And where do you think his future is going to go? As always, leave your thoughts in the comments below. Huge thank you to all my subscribers, your support truly means a lot to me, it really does. If you're new, please consider subscribing to help the channel grow. And if you enjoyed this particular vid, then why not drop a like on it too. But with that said, I am off, and I'll see you all again real soon.